Donald Trump just targeted Liz Cheney in a conversation with Tucker Carlson. Welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe, and we're going to talk about this briefly. As I've said many times before, that as the days get closer to Election Day, and even through from Election Day until the certification on January 6th, Donald Trump is going to keep on ramping up the narrative and disgustingly attacking people and targeting people. So, in this conversation with Tucker Carlson, he openly calls Adam Schiff's scums, Shifty Schiff, an enemy within. And then he goes after Liz Cheney and says essentially that Liz Cheney should be put in front of a firing squad with 9 guns pointing at her and then see how she feels. Mind you, Donald Trump's loyalists and extremists who cater to Donald Trump's ideology, they are going to threaten, and the threats are going to skyrocket with Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff and anyone else that Donald Trump targets. Donald Trump is content, and also about Joe Biden calling Donald Trump supporters garbage. First of all, that's nonsense. That's taken out of context because that's reading one small portion of a larger paragraph. And even if it were to be calling people who stand with Donald Trump garbage, because I have no problem saying that Donald Trump is garbage. I have no problem saying that Donald Trump is the enemy within. He's being prosecuted for that right now. And Liz Cheney is one of the strongest conservative voices against Donald Trump. So what does Donald do? He talks about shooting Liz Cheney. He's giving his loyalists permission to threaten her, and threats against her will go up. And I hope and I wish that conservatives will speak up. You know, people like Liz Cheney and Judge Ludwig and Adam Kinzinger and even Dick Cheney and Bill Barr and former Vice President Pence, they have all come out against Donald Trump in some way, shape, or form. But I don't think that that's sufficient. I think that conservatives need to make a concerted effort to come out and stand by Liz Cheney and her pro Constitution ideals. Because right now, Liz Cheney is the only brave conservative, and there's Judge Ludwig, but he's not on the campaign trail with Kamala Harris. But Liz Cheney is the conservative, the Republican, lifelong Republican who has been speaking out against Donald Trump's crimes against our country and the threat he poses our republic from day one, from the point that he declared war on our democracy. And today, Donald Trump went after Liz Cheney in a targeted way, and his attacks are going to get vile, more and more vile, and he's going to get more and more dangerous. And as I said on X, he's like a rattlesnake that's broken its back. He's more dangerous, he's going to lash out more, and he's going to target more people. There's going to be chaos on a local level, like a person getting caught with a machete. There will be other threats against election officials, against election workers, against election centers. They're already prepping up, and they've already filed suit of there being some sort of electoral problems. Donald Trump is already spreading lies about Pennsylvania is rigged because Donald Trump knows that Donald Trump is going to lose. And he's saying right now, he's with Tucker Carlson, he said, you know, the only way we're going to lose is if they cheat. That's exactly what Donald Trump did 4 years ago. That's exactly the sort of track he took 4 years ago to what end? To incite an insurrection to stop the certification of the votes. But before that, Donald Trump was doing the fake elector scheme. And before that, he was pressuring Mike Pence. And before that, he was going after state officials. And this time, there are state election officials who are going to help him. And and the people who are wanting to have a free and fair election are doing their utmost to stop voter fraud. Whereas what MAGA and Donald Trump is doing is continuously flare up anger on one side and also then lie about the voter fraud on the other side. At the same time, I'm sure that Donald Trump is talking about secret plans with Mike Johnson that are more nefarious than talking about taking away Obamacare. I wouldn't be surprised if their dreams are for Donald Trump to win and there be a big red wave, and then Mike Johnson becomes speaker again and he's going to repeal Obamacare. But I have faith in Americans. Americans need to get out there and vote blue and vote blue down ballot. It just doesn't cut it if we are going to get the White House. We need a blue Congress in order to push through reproductive freedom so Donald Trump doesn't have to go around protecting women. We need to be able to implement SCOTUS reform. We need to be able to implement Kamala Harris's economic reform to be able to increase the ability and the capabilities of the middle class by building housing and job opportunities, by giving tax subsidies instead of giving tax subsidies to the rich and the corporations, which is what Donald Trump is going to do. So I'm going off track right now, but essentially I want to point out this very important warning. Donald Trump's threats are going to be ramping up, and he's going to keep targeting people like Liz Cheney. You conservatives, liberals, every democracy-loving American must stand back behind Liz Cheney and stand up for Liz Cheney, because Liz Cheney is standing for our Constitution. And I may not agree with many of her policy positions, but when it comes to the Constitution and safeguarding our republic, I'm on board with her. And she understands that very well as she goes in and campaigns for Kamala Harris. She understands the risks, and she is brave enough and courageous enough to come out and still do it. So what about the rest of the conservatives? Where is your voice? You need to stand with Liz Cheney now. With that said, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.